All right, guys, there you go. That is a mini circuit that you could start to do to help prep your deadlifts so that you could save your lower back from problems. If it's enough for you, just to see those exercises and then repeat them, cool, good job. Get in there, crank out some reps today. But if you want to learn some of the finer details of these exercises, why they're so important, and kind of maybe some little tweaks that you could do to make them more accessible to you, you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to share a few little nuggets here that are going to help you out a ton. Now, number one, the goal of these drills, out of breath, that stuff is not easy. Anyways, the goal with these drills is to help stimulate the deeper abdominal muscles, particularly your transverse abdominis. It is a muscle that wraps around your body kind of like a corset, like it's a cylinder type of muscle that, again, its job is to help preserve your spine, in particular your lower back. Okay, its job again is to help keep you in good alignment. Oftentimes when we talk about people that are suffering from lower back pains, what we'll see when they go through that hip hinge or deadlift pattern is that they don't stay in what's called a neutral position. So if you look at me from the side, when I'm to deadlift, I should have a natural curvature in my lower back as I hinge from the hips the entire time. A lot of times what we're going to end up seeing from people is that there'll be too much rounding and they deadlift in a position like this, or the opposite will be happening, but they have too much of an arch in their lower back. Maybe they're keeping their eyes focused on something when they shouldn't be doing that. These drills that I just demonstrated for you in that particular order helps, Aiko, thanks for checking in, helps set up that deeper core, keeping you in better alignment. Again, some of them might be a little too advanced for many of you out there. Maybe you're dealing with too much pain or just don't have the skills yet to do them, but each one kind of builds into the next. Let me kind of walk you through a few of them here so that you can kind of understand some of the finer details of it. Now, this first drill is a pretty important corrective for just about anybody, and I kind of beg you that if you're just trying to preserve your body and avoid any type of pains, to start doing this. You can do this at home with anything. Pretty much what I did with this is I just took a foam roller and I wanted to create like a kind of a reactive effect to help my abdominals kind of build up some energy. I'm taking the foam roller and I'm just squeezing both sides. This is setting up sort of a chain reaction that goes through my body that helps turn on my core. So just being in this position right here is a good starting spot. Now, to control my spine, to kind of increase the challenges on the deeper abdominal muscles, there's a couple things that you can do. Number one, just being in this position right here for many of you is a good start. You can start to add some movement. We're adding that compression here, but then we're going through a reach, and you're trying to avoid your lower back from doing something like this, either flattening to the ground or arching too much while you move your hands. What I demoed was taking legs and extending them to kind of mimic the demands of what we ask when we deadlift. We go from this is extension, this is flexion, this is your hips bending and extending. You can increase the challenge of this just by taking your hands and kind of dropping them back. So this is a very, very simple progression that you can make that goes a long way. Now, the important thing with this drill, if nothing else, if it doesn't seem like a very hard exercise for you, the important thing with this drill is to understand to understand the feeling that you're creating in your dumbbells, because you want that feeling to transfer over to the rest of them. So you're pretty much using this, if nothing else, as a learning experience. Now, changing positions just a little bit. The progression that we make, kind of the first progression in terms of position-wise, is to take your body and kind of flip it over and to go into what's more called a prone position. I did a plank and I added a row into it. So first, setting yourself up in the plank position or the high plank position, we're looking at trying to keep ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle lined up. Obviously, one thing that we see a lot of from athletes that have weaker cores is they'll do a lot of sagging here at their hips, or they'll end up doing something where they hike up there. If that's your problem, then we kind of need to modify the position itself and make sure that we have like good alignment. I added a row into this because it's a nice way to kind of encourage your upper back to get strong, because we know when we deadlift, we have to be locked in there, but it also ties in real nicely with the opposite glute. Again, one more time, the exercise itself looks something like this right here. Again, we're just working on good positioning while we go through the rowing pattern. When we looked at it from the opposite angle, things that we're kind of looking at is avoiding rotation out of your shoulders right now. We're working on stabilization. So it's pretty awesome. As an exercise itself, you could throw this in on your back day, you could throw it in as an accessory after workouts, but the important thing is to make sure that you get it done. Now, we progress positions as well by going to a tall kneeling position. It's a Palloff press. So in a Palloff press, we have the resistance coming from the side of you. Again, it's important to kind of engage your core, keep good alignment from ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle. Again, this kind of emphasizes the finishing position of a deadlift. So when you're erect like that, again, this is a drill that's pretty common for many athletes. Me, in terms of grabbing this, I prefer to grab it first with the outside hand and then cover up with the inside hand. Again, this is going to help me engage my obliques a little bit more, because watch what happens if I don't have them engaged. I end up rotating like this. So now you get your deeper transverse abdominis, plus those oblique muscles firing up to keep you erect. Changing positions one more time. Getting to our feet looks more like a deadlift. I took a med ball next. Walked myself through the hip hinge pattern. This is easy right here, but the more I put the ball in front of me, the more I'm challenged to prevent my body from doing an arch or doing a round. So the farther away the ball goes, the more the challenge is. The last exercise, one that's pretty stinking awesome, one that I'm going to encourage many athletes to kind of get into their program, is a single leg hip hinge deadlift exercise where we're holding the bar in our biceps right here, or in the crook of our elbow. Again, we do this for the simple reason that it's reducing the amount of load that we're taking off our lower back, just because it's closer to our lower back. So position-wise, when you set this up, not a whole lot of weight, you see it's going to go right here, just like this, okay? Then we just kind of follow the movement along of a deadlift, where we're just going to hinge our hips, working on focusing on pushing our hips back, keeping our ear, shoulder, and hip in good alignment. Again, this is awesome because now we're not only challenging those deeper core muscles for stability, but we're involving the smaller muscles of our hips. So you get this kind of machine working together to protect your midsection from doing anything funky. Again, if lower back pain has been a problem for you after deadlift sessions, number one, you probably need to address your mobility. But number two, we need to make sure that you have the stability that's required, meaning we need to get deep core, smaller hips, and then get the coordination of the pattern down. These drills done in this order are going to help build you up so that when you get to that session, you're going to be more focused in on using your deeper core and getting your glutes to do the job as a driver. Okay? Anyways, you guys got questions, comments, concerns about that or anything else? Or You just want me to build you a plan so you don't got to do no thinking, and you could just get to your gym or like we have our garage gym and just pound it. I'll do all the work for you. Okay, anyways, take care. Thanks for watching, guys.